Hello, I am Dr. Darnita L. Payton, and my purpose is to educate, encourage, and enlighten. Thank you so much for taking the time to stop by my channel today. I am so grateful that you are here. Before you leave, give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. And do me one favor, tell at least 5 people you know about my channel. I would greatly appreciate it. So today, we are going to talk about 5 ways to spend like a millionaire. Now, I'm assuming that you would already have the million, but as I was developing this video, I thought, well, the 5 things that I'm going to share are also really helpful in becoming a millionaire. So maybe I should have called it 5 ways to save and spend like a millionaire. Okay, we can go with that. But specifically, we're going to talk about 5 ways to spend like a millionaire. Because let me ask you this question. When you think of a millionaire, what first comes to mind? Most people think of people living in lavish homes, driving fancy cars, wearing huge diamond rings, and, spending lots of money. Well, those are the millionaires that I know. The millionaires that I know live like us regular folks. They've just been really good with managing their money and also with managing their ideas about money and their emotions towards money. Insert eye roll here. Here she goes again telling us to save. Absolutely. All the millionaires that I know, sidebar, meet me over here, I realized that I know a lot of millionaires. And so in researching this video, the things that they do, again, were really simple. And they don't live especially extravagant lives. They have nice things, and, they've rewarded themselves for being such great savers. But that was one of the first things that they did, was they saved, which meant that they paid themselves first. Well, secondly, after their tithes and offering, because most of the millionaires that I know are Christians, and they know that they need to give those tithes as well. So after giving their tithes, they saved. And because, the taxes come off first. So we don't even count those. So taxes come off first. And they would pay themselves. And what I found was, now of course it's more involved than just saving, although you can save to become a millionaire, but they did other things as well. But one of the main things they did was to save and to make sure that their money was working for them. So if you've not seen my video in the Simple Life series about saving money, please go take a look at that, and that should be helpful as well. So make sure that the money that you're saving is working for you. So you want to definitely make sure that it's in an interest-bearing account, not sitting in your neighborhood bank or the big major bank that holds your money but doesn't give you any interest on it. So they're using your money for free. Not a whole bunch of fun when you look at your statement at the end of the month and it still has the same amount that it did before, because you're paying for the privilege of using their bank. Okay, enough on that. I know, mind-blowing, right? So just recently, hearing someone who is a millionaire say he only shops twice a year. And the crowd went hushed. What do you mean you only shop twice a year? He says, I buy everything that I need. And when he says shop, he means for major things, not as in food or clothes or things like that. But he shops twice a year, generally sometime around Christmas, and then another time maybe mid-year, so May or June, because buying during those times, there's less competition. And you may think, well, what competition isn't there during Christmas? Everyone's buying. The thing is, shopping for things that no one else is shopping for. And I learned this from a real estate agent as well. He was talking about when the best time is to buy a house is obviously when everyone else isn't, because then there's less competition. And that sounds really simple, but how many of us do that? How many of us will put off, that impulse buying, or we will put off the need to spend money because it's not the right time, and we will wait for that item to go on sale. So this particular person was saying that he basically only shops twice a year, and he always shops a sale. Now, I'm not saying that to spend like a millionaire, you can only shop twice a year, but what he was saying was he buys the major things that he needs at least twice a year. He shops sales, and here's a tidbit, he does it off season. So he doesn't buy when everyone else is buying. If you want to spend like a millionaire, you have to shop like a millionaire. And everyone that I talked to in the research that I saw said to shop sales. Now, you know, if you watch any of my videos, that I have 4 favorite words in retail. That's sale, clearance, coupon, and discount. It hurts my feelings and offends me to pay full price for anything. So make sure you peruse those circulars, and you want to comparison shop. And if you've not seen, again, that video, I really suggest that you go watch the video on 5 simple ways to save money. And here's another tip. After you've saved the money that you would have normally spent because you got something on sale, or it was discounted, or you used a coupon, or it was on clearance, you want to go back to number 1 and save what you would have spent. Don't go spend it on something else. Oh, I saved 50%, so let me go spend that on something else. No. Remember, number 1 is to save. So in a conversation not so long ago, I was listening to a male millionaire who says that he only buys things when there's little competition. Do tell, I said, to myself, because he did tell us anyway. What he meant was, for example, let's say you need an air conditioner. How many people are buying air conditioners in December? Not many, because there's no demand for them. And it was funny, I also heard a realtor say the same thing about, buying a house, especially in a hot market like we have right now. And he said his number 1 suggestion is, so if you can wait, and that means that you may have to just, deny self for a little bit, use some self-control. You want to buy when no one else is buying because there's little competition. Okay, then. So go look for that air conditioner in December. Or if you're trying to buy, a car, shop when everyone else isn't shopping. So if if inventory is high, but there aren't a lot of buyers, then you have more choices. But if inventory is low and there are a lot of buyers, then there's no incentive for there to be anything on sale, number 2. So buy off season and then do number 1, which is save. You all know, notice how I keep going back to the previous ones, just making sure you're paying attention. Now, here's a funny story. When I was about 8 years old, probably grade 3, I was a bit on the side of high-minded. Now, I didn't have a job, didn't have any savings except for what was in my piggy bank. And obviously, I couldn't buy or shop for myself, but I had a moment of high-mindedness. And it's funny because even as a kid, I wasn't a materialistic type of child, and I'm still not. And so, buying used isn't a big thing. But for some reason, on this special occasion, I just decided that, yeah, I was going to be high-minded with my not job having self and can't take care of myself or provide for myself. Someone had bought me a pair of designer jeans. And again, that's another thing about me. I'm not, really into designers except for Ralph Lauren. That man can do things with fabric that will make you have to repent because the lies that the dress tell. Yeah. Anyway, so someone had bought me a pair of designer jeans. And I was so excited. My first pair of designer jeans. And then they said they came from a thrift store. And my little 8-year-old heart just broke. And I said, I'm not wearing them. Then I'm thinking, now, why wouldn't I wear the jeans? It's not as if they, were going to make me wear them dirty. They had just been used. And I chuckle at that story, which I had to go back to my journals to remember, that my 8-year-old self just thought that buying used was somehow beneath me. Now, again, in my defense, back then, thrifting wasn't thrifting like it is now. Back then, if you bought something from the thrift store, it was generally because, you didn't have a lot of money. Or I think in my 8-year-old mind, I thought people would think that we were poor. And of course we weren't, bless God. But, that was my 8-year-old mind. Now, the mind that I have today is all about buying used if I can to, number one, save, and number two, shop those sales, and number three, buy off season. So, but I just thought that was really funny. But the sad part is I know a lot of adults who still have that 8-year-old mindset that, they're above, or as I said with my high-minded, no job having self, that I couldn't, wear a pair of designer jeans, and I wouldn't wear them. I think I wore them finally the year later, age 9 brought along some maturity or something. But for my entire 8th year, I just would not wear those designer jeans. But let me find a designer on sale, used now. Yeah, okay. I would definitely probably snap that right on up. So that was just funny to me. So buy used. And here's another funny tidbit. I've never owned a new car. All of my cars have been used, which is probably a great thing because I've had 3 cars lost to some sort of hit and run, either by person or by deer. Yeah. Baby's dad totaled my third car, fourth car, third car, because I lost one to an attempted hit and run, but they were stopped. And then I lost one to a human hit and run. And then I lost one to Bambi's dad, again, on my way to church nonetheless. And yeah, he just fell from heaven and took my car right out. And just so we know, none of those accidents were my fault. We want to be real clear on that. I'm an excellent driver. It's everyone else and that Bambi's dad. But back to the story. The point of it is I've always bought a used car. Mainly because they're cheaper. They're generally more reliable. And you've heard about it, depreciation. That bad word. But it depreciates as soon as you buy it. So that $60,000 car that you bought may be dollars less in value by the time you drive it off the lot. And I admit I have commitment issues, not for people, not for relationships, but for monthly payments. The thought of paying for something for 5 years, it hurts my feelings. It insults me. No, I just can't. I won't do that. So I've always bought used cars, and I would suggest that you do too. But if you are so inclined and you want to buy that new car, they're your coins. You can do with them what you want. But spending like a millionaire, you would probably go for that used car, which has proven reliability and it's cheaper. So you get the same bells and whistles mostly as the current year, but you don't spend the current year's prices. Not to compare yourself to others. I talk about this so much in so many other videos because it's so important. The life that you may be comparing yourself to is likely not even their real life. So if you've not seen my video on 5 steps to maintaining your joy, please take a look at that because I talk about that extensively in that video. Comparison is the thief of joy. You want to live the life that you have based on the funds, the finances, the coins that you have, the ones that you've worked tirelessly for, and the ones that you've saved for, and the ones that, you've made some sacrifices to have. And if you're comparing yourself to the Joneses or the Smiths or whoever the latest family is, and my family name happens to have some Joneses in it, so I can say honestly, don't compare yourself to the Joneses. Compare yourself to you and what you are able to do and how you can spend like a millionaire. So enjoy the fruits of your labor, of doing the things that you had to do to make the sacrifices to earn those millions. By saving and shopping sales and buying off season and buying used, and again, not comparing yourself to the Joneses, the Smiths, or anybody else whose lives really likely may not be as lavish or extravagant as they make you believe they are. And back to the conversation and talking with, the millionaires that I know, a lot of them say they don't compare themselves to, what other millionaires may be doing or the house that other millionaires may be living in or the cars that they drive. Now, they may share some, advice on investments or, sales or, the best practices and things like that. But they're generally, if they're comparing themselves to someone else, it's in the most positive way and in ways that will help them, and so that they can help each other and help others. So if you want to compare yourself, make sure that you're not comparing yourself for lack, but if you're going to compare yourself, it's because someone has done something that you can emulate that will benefit you and others, but not that, oh, they have this and I want that and I should have that. Because again, you don't know what it took for them to get what they have. So there you have it. 5 ways to spend like a millionaire. I hope you enjoyed this fun video. So before you leave, I want to ask you to take part in this poll. Which way would you like to become a millionaire? Number 1, would you like to work and save for it? Would you like to inherit it from your uncle's will? Now, just a little side note on that one. I would love for someone to leave me millions in a will. But then I would think that I would be really sad because, my favorite uncle, that would mean he'd have to be dead before I could get the money. Now, I'm not saying I wouldn't take it, but I would be sad. So let me know if that would be your way. Number 3, invest. Number 4, the lottery. Nah. And then number 5 is work, save, and invest. So anyway, thank you so much for taking the time to stop by today. I hope that you enjoyed this fun video. And if no one has told you today how awesome you are, I want you to know that you are absolutely, positively awesome. Take care. God bless. Bye.